Hello everyone, I'm Rajita. So this is my presentation regarding conservation biology, and my topic is anthropogenic threats and conservation needs of cetacean in whale watching waters of southern Sri Lanka. Uh, this is the Sri Lanka where it's located in northern Indian Ocean, and Sri Lanka belongs to Indian Ocean Marine Mammal Sanctuary. Uh, Indian Ocean Marine Mammal Sanctuary was established in 1979 by International Whaling Commission. The major objective of this Indian Ocean Marine Mammal Sanctuary is to prevent the cetaceans, that means whales and dolphins, from whaling activities, as well as to do research and the conservation perspectives. So those are the main objective of this Indian Ocean Marine Mammal Sanctuary. Scope and coverage, background, research gap, threats and conservation issues, status and future perspective. Background, cetacean account in Sri Lanka. Cetaceans, as I mentioned, cetaceans means whales and dolphins, commonly known as cetaceans. Stranding and whaling records indicate more than 30 cetacean species in Sri Lankan waters, including 6 mysticities and 24 odontocities. Mysticities means the baleen whales, and the odontocities mean tooth whale. That means tooth cetaceans, the dolphin, sperm whale, like that. This remarkable diversity and abundance in Sri Lanka become a major area to watch and do scientific investigation on cetaceans. As you see in this figure, these are the three main hotspots of Sri Lanka for the whale watching activities as well as cetaceans occurrence. Out of these three, the southern Mirissa, the southern Sri Lanka, the Mirissa of Mirissa is the one of the major hotspot because mainly the whale watching activity is prominently happening in this area. Whale watching. Whale watching is done massively due to the high blue whale occurrence in Sri Lanka. There is high demand for Mirissa, as I mentioned, due to the high blue whale occurrence, and the tourism peak in Sri Lanka from December to April during the period of northeast monsoon. The blue whale. Just keep in mind, the blue whale is actually the endangered species in the world, so it is highly prominent in southern Sri Lanka. So let's move to the research gap. There has been little dedicated long-term research on the marine mammals in Sri Lanka. This is mostly a result of lack of financial resources and the trained personnel to carry out the research works. Therefore, what we know about Sri Lankan cetaceans or Sri Lankan marine mammals is still very incomplete. We don't know which species are particularly at risk. So, keeping that research gap in mind, so we had a problem how we can use this population dynamic data for conservation and management purposes, and whale conservation and ecotourism. Can it really coexist? So those are the current prevailing questions in Sri Lankan waters. So I conducted a research in 2017 using cetacean sightings. So here cetacean sightings, we calculate the encounter rate, sightings corrected by the survey effort. Then I found the regional diversity, spatial and temporal pattern, and identify the dominant species. Before conservation, we want to know which species is highly occurring in this area and which species is under threat. So then we conducted the photo ID, actually the photo investigation of cetaceans to find the threat and risk and the conservation and management implication. Study area. The red box indicated as you see in here, the study area, the southern Sri Lanka of Mirissa, and where it's dropped from, the isopelt is dropped from 500 to 2000 meters, and the southern Sri Lanka, the most southernmost point in Sri Lanka, the Dondra Head. This is actually used the cetaceans generally use this area as a foraging ground in this area, and the encounter rate. As I mentioned, this is just for the method to emphasize the methodology what I follow. Just we did the survey area. We divided into grid cells. That's mean 1.8 to 1.8 kilometers. Then the sightings recording in the particular cell we divided by the survey effort done by the particular cell. That is the main summary of this encounter rate methodology, and the heat map was generated by using ArcGIS. So as you see in this figure, you can see the grid cells, and the survey effort was not evenly distributed, and we did the survey for maximize our sightings recordings. And as you see in the shipping lanes, you can see the eastbound shipping lanes and westbound shipping lanes. So westbound shipping lanes is mainly overlap with the cetacean feeding ground, so there might be definitely threat for because of this marine traffic. So this is the summary what I did in this research. During the 5-month period, January to month, we achieved 20,445 kilometer over 55 survey days, and we recorded 242 sightings. The most of the baleen whales, that's been blue whales, and other than that, bright sails and amura was recorded. And the tooth cetacean, spinner dolphin, sperm whale, common bottlenose dolphin, so altogether 9 species was recorded. The regional diversity, the Simpson diversity index, I calculated for the diversity index, so it was 0.5, and you can see the rarefaction curve using estimate test. I generated the rarefaction curve to find the cetacean regional diversity. So after the 30 days, it reached the plateau. That's mean we have covered almost all the species in the particular area. And this is to find out which species is dominant. So you can see the blue whales has a high encounter rate throughout the area, the spatial pattern. And when you go to the temporal pattern also, you can see the blue whales, you can see they have recorded almost all the month during the survey, as well as the common bottlenose dolphin and the spinner dolphin also recorded each month. So and you can see the most of the common bottlenose dolphin and the spinner dolphin. Here we want to know where they are likely ecological niche. So you can see most of the blue whales recorded between 500 meter to 2000 meter depth region, and the sperm whale also, and the most of the tooth cetaceans, that's been bottlenose dolphin and the spinner dolphin, they recorded the below 500 meters. So if we know these the spatial patterns and this the temporal pattern and their depth occurrence, so it is very necessary for the conservation for this cetacean. So that's why I put this my research findings in this conservation presentation. uh, and in other than that, we compare this current survey 2017 survey with the previous survey. So the blue whales was the, as I mentioned, the dominant species what I found. uh, this is actually the survey effort was not evenly distributed, but this is the that's been we found these results using random linear transect, but this is we use the line transect method. The previous researcher, they found this information according to based on that. So here the species category, as I mentioned, the blue whales has the has the high sighting high sighting frequency, and some species were recorded what were previously not recorded, like Omura whale, and Menel-headed whale, and some species were not recorded during the previous survey in the current, such as the false killer whales and pygmy killer whales, which was not recorded in the current survey, but it's recorded in the previous survey. So let's move to the threats and conservation issues. So according to my research, we found the main, as I mentioned, the shipping traffic. You can see the mainly westbound shipping lane and the eastbound shipping lanes is overlap with this cetacean feeding ground, and you can see the marine traffic, how daily boats are passing this. That's mean marine vessels are passing in this area. So that is Sri Lanka is known as one of the high marine traffic area, the marine traffic hotspot. So definitely there will be a problem to the cetacean species. So you can see the in a one picture the whale watching and the shipping and the blue whales. So in one picture you can see the threat, how the anthropogenic activities occur in this area. And you can see due to the shipping strikes, one blue whale was dead in the particular study area in 2012. And the field observation recorded in 2017, you can see the number of whale watching boats, how they go for the encounter these blue whales. And you can see the number of the whale watching boat, how it's operate very close to the animal. So definitely there will be threat for these animals. And in other than that, this is also one picture during the photo ID survey. The shipping, the fishing activities, and the shipping, and the whale watching activities. All three anthropogenic activities happening in these waters. You can see the blue whales nearby, the swimming in near, the diving in nearby. So these are the threats mainly in the southern Sri Lankan waters. And other than that, we found some blue whale species, mainly it has some the damages and some special body marks due to the propeller attack and some drift gill nets attack. So you can see they have lost their parts, how these animals exposed to these anthropogenic activities in the area. We can get this as evidence. The bride's whale, I found one bride's whale which lost the highly damaged their fluke region due to the propeller activity. So those are the threats mainly for these animals due to this marine traffic. And I categorized these threats, and I found the ship strike. It has the high severity. As I mentioned, the severity is high, scope moderate, immediacy high, and the description moderate to serve imminent threats for a significant proportion of the population. So in comparing with the other threats, the shipping strike is the one of the major threat for this animal. In other than that, the other some threats I categorize: the prominent fisheries industry. The cause of threat is indirect catch. The description: accidental bycatch. And the mitigation: we can use the prohibition of using synthetic gillnet and use of pinchers to avoid the entanglement of cetacean in the gillnet. And the shipping traffic, as I mentioned, the ship strikes is the main cause of threat. And shipping lanes, the shipping lanes are mainly overlapped with the cetacean feeding grounds, as I mentioned previously. The move the mitigation is move westbound shipping lanes towards the offshore waters. And the whale watching industry, operating very close to the animal and chasing the animal. What happened? Whale watching can be changed their long-term and short-term behavioral ecology of the cetacean. And chasing can be caused for replace the cetacean towards the shipping lane. So definitely there will be a threat there. The proper regulation in place to control or monitor such activities will be the mitigation strategy. And the habitat destruction in the form of marine pollution, that's mean land-based and marine-based pollution. So well-managed protected areas such as marine environment protected MPAs, marine protected areas should be declared specifically for its protection. So those are the suggestions and the mitigation strategies for this threat. And the legal protection. All the cetacean in Sri Lankan waters are protected under two laws: the Flora and Fauna Protection Ordinance Act number 22 of 2009 and the Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Act number 2 of 1996. But these both acts consider the injury, removal, trade of sea mammals, but none of them consider the threats what I mentioned above. That's mean the vessel strike, entanglement, bycatch or oil gas development and pollution. And so this highlights the need of proper implementation of the existing legislation for further development of the according to this threat. And blue whales is, as I mentioned, it is the endangered species in northern Indian Ocean are protected by the International Whaling Commission according to the CITES, the Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna. So those are the legal protection in Sri Lanka, the legal protection criteria in Sri Lanka. So, status and future perspective. It is important to recognize that much more research necessary before clear understanding the cetacean in these waters. Therefore, the urgent need to reduce the human-related mortality, especially ship strike, as much as possible in these waters. It is also important to consider the cumulative pressure uh, which regarding to these animals, such as number of boats of whale watching is now getting increased. So it will be in future it will be definitely a threat. And high risk area need to be closely examined, and we have to couple with predictive modeling to assess areas where conservation action may be targeted to prevent the future vessel collisions. And this is the original article which I published in 2021 in March. So if you are interested, you can read this article. And the conclusion, according to my research and this overall, This near baseline information of cetacean is essential to evaluate the region's species richness and the effectiveness of the conservation effort, and we recommend use this near baseline data for the management purposes. And as I mentioned, blue whales are the highly occurred species and the endangered species in the world. Then blue whales are the threatened species marine megafauna found in this study area. So the conservation of blue whales should be a national priority. The proper management and conservation plan is essential to protect the conserve all the cetaceans and also sustain the whale watching industry. So that's all about my research and my presentation regarding this conservation biology, and thank you for your patience.